Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clark on YouTube. Oh no! Hi YouTube. You guys wouldn't believe how much work goes into these videos. Just even setting up your set in the background. You have to make sure all of your Mickeys and your Sonics and your Stitches are in the view. You have to make sure you're in the view of the camera. You have to make sure the lighting is perfect. Then you have to edit the video after you shoot it. It takes a really long time to put these videos together, but I think that everybody appreciates these videos, and that's why you're here. You love these videos. You love the content. You find time in appreciating it. When you're YouTubing things like Dove Cameron, Liv and Maddie, Descendants, your favorite Disney show, your favorite Disney movie, you find time in appreciating it. You click on my thumbnail, and I can't thank you enough. I can't thank the YouTube algorithm enough for recommending my video and putting my videos out there for fans of things like Descendants and Liv and Maddie and zombies. It's truly an unbelievable experience. And over the years that I've been a Disney fan, I've been introduced to so many incredible fans that have never given up on what they believed in. And what I mean by that is when I research things like Hannah Montana, Wizards of Waverly Place, from 2006, 2007, when Disney was really at the heights of its popularity and coming into its own. I would research things in the nighttime on Google and Bing, and I would see all these photos of fans of, say, Hannah Montana, for instance, and how they would gravitate to such an appealing thing that Disney was trying to promote. And what they were trying to promote was a message of positivity and accomplishment through things like Hannah Montana and Wizards of Waverly Place, along with how anything is possible in this life. All you've got to do is reach up and grab the proverbial brass ring. And I found time in really appreciating that, making the dreams of every child who ever believed in Hannah Montana and Wizards of Waverly Place and, say, Phineas and Ferb when they came into fruition in about 2007, 2008, making the dreams of everybody seem reachable. Even when they seemed unreachable and impossible to achieve and obtain, Disney did that. I mean, let's go back to as far as Hannah Montana. In March of 2006, this series premiered. It was one of the highest premiered series in Disney Channel's history. And then came Wizards of Waverly Place. But before that, Hannah Montana's message was one of perseverance, was one of bravery, was one of defiance. And because she was such a defiant character who wouldn't take no for an answer and used the ability to tell stories through music, everybody gravitated to her, whether it be for her merchandise, whether it be for her message of positivity, and I found time in appreciating that, and that's why I watched all 100 episodes of Hannah Montana, and that's why I eventually went to see the movie. I may have been the only guy in the movie theater at the time, but I was very appreciative of it, and I had a whole lot of fun watching it and experiencing Hannah Montana just as all of you did. So, after Hannah Montana finishes in 2011, January of that year, here comes another show, Good Luck Charlie, which we're going to be celebrating the anniversary of on April 4th. And then shows like Liv and Maddie exploded around the same time that Girl Meets World was at the heights of its popularity. One of the coolest things for me as a YouTube creator is having the opportunity to listen to each and every one of you. And what I mean by listening to each and every one of you, it's providing you with the content that you love, that you cherish so much. And I think that Liv and Maddie's message was one of also positivity, and that anything was possible no matter what kind of obstacles and adversity you're faced with. There's no better feeling in the world than overcoming adversity and achieving your dreams. And that's one of the things. I think that Liv and Maddie was really one of the first shows since Hannah Montana had seen the heights of its popularity exceed the expectations of anyone. I don't think anyone ever thought that a show like Hannah Montana was ever going to get to the heights of the popularity that it did. But one of the coolest things about Liv and Maddie was here were two characters portrayed by one individual. Sometimes they'd have a stunt double come in and portray another character to give Dove Cameron a break. But she did such a phenomenal job of bringing both of these characters to life in a way that I don't think anyone else could have ever done it. And her message of just being so defiant and so courageous at the same time through the power of music. Because I said here many times in this show that there's no better way to tell a story than through the power and utilization of music. If a person stops talking on their podcast, you don't really know much about them. Brief moment of silence there. If I stop talking, you don't know much about the host of this show, you don't know much about the content of the show, you don't really know anything or take anything away from it. So sometimes when the emotions are at an all-time high, whether it be on a TV series or on the big screen or an IMAX, the best way of telling it through the telling of a story is through the power of music. And that's something that Liv and Maddie did through the power of a script and the power of music. I also really appreciated how some characters on the show, like Liv, for instance, I was a big fan of Liv Rooney because she would come in and do something stupid and make her exit. But through doing something stupid and making her exit, she also inspired so many people that no matter what your situation is in your life, you can overcome it, and you can really stand out through, your desire to want to draw, your desire to want to sing, your desire to want to act. I mean, how many of you guys out there signed up for the drama club, or signed up for the music group in your school, or signed up for some sport that you wanted to excel at, you wanted to achieve the impossible at? And I think that's what these shows really, really showed. I mean, we had Maddie, who was always a sports fanatic. We had Liv, who wanted to be an actress in that series. I think it was called Space Wolves, wasn't it? Everybody loves Space Wolves. And I think that, through this exuberant personality that Liv had, through this defiant personality that Maddie had, it was an amazing thing. And it was an amazing experience for everybody. The cool thing about Dove Cameron was able to make the characters feel separate from each other and didn't make them feel as if they were one in their entirety. That was the cool thing about Dove Cameron. She suggested to the producers that we give them individual character traits to separate them, and she was able to bring it to life in a way that nobody else ever could. There was a lot of pressure that went with portraying both characters, but she did it in such a phenomenal way. So I know that there are a lot of people out there who love Liv and Maddie, who love Descendants, and unquestionably that's what's made my content so popular. My distribution of Descendants and Liv and Maddie content, which Dove Cameron had a huge hand in. So I thought, why not give the fans and the subscribers of this YouTube show what they want? Why not give them Liv and Maddie content today on this channel? I promise all of you we will have a lot of Descendants, a lot of Liv and Maddie content as we get closer to the release of the new Descendants movie. Descendants 5 has been confirmed. This world tour with Descendants and Zombies coming together. Really excited to see what Kylie Cantrell, Ruby Rose Turner, and Mila Baker are going to bring on stage to this one. But a series like Liv and Maddie, which premiered in 2013 on Disney Channel, now on Disney Plus, available for all subscribers, was where it all began. Because if not for the success of Liv and Maddie, which was Dove Cameron's breakout role just after her dad had passed away, if not for the success of this show, I don't think we would have ever seen a franchise like Descendants explode under the direction of Kenny Ortega like it did. I loved how Dove Cameron could get on stage, tell a story through the power of her music, which is why I was really happy to see her back on Jimmy Fallon, The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, a couple of nights ago, promoting her song Too Much. I think that was the first time we saw Dove Cameron in a long time. It's been a couple of years since we've seen Dove. 2022, 2023 was the first part of her album Alchemical, if I can remember correctly. It was one of the highest selling on iTunes. It exploded for Dove Cameron because of songs like Boyfriend, and this one, Too Much, is her follow-up. The performance was amazing. If you haven't seen it, it's all over social media, and I highly recommend you check it out. But I'm thrilled she's back because there are these faces that have been the focal point of Disney for forever, and I've really missed seeing them. I've really missed seeing Miley perform the way she did. I really miss Emily Osment performing the way she did. I really miss Selena Gomez the way that she performed the way she did. So there are these faces that you become familiarized with Disney, and when you see them for the first time in a really long time, you can't help but feel ecstatic. You can't help but feel happy. And there's this thing about people like Dove Cameron and Miley Cyrus that make you feel that way. They make you feel inspired. And no matter how people may feel about them, because there are mixed reactions all the time coming in about stars like Dove Cameron and their views and opinions, but the thing is, they make you feel inspired, and every single time you take something special away from them. So what do you say we take a look at some retro Liv and Maddie facts? This will be done in a two-part series, so part 2 will come out in a couple of days as we take a retrospective look on the success of Liv and Maddie. I'm really excited to look at this footage with you. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and the like buttons and give yourself a bam what, which was the catchphrase of Liv and Maddie on the Liv and Maddie TV series, which makes this one such a huge... I was a really big fan of shows like iCarly and Hannah Montana years ago, and seeing those shows reach the heights of their popularity was so much fun for me as a fan of both Disney and Nickelodeon. And then all of a sudden, in the shadow of this, here comes a show like Liv and Maddie, which inspires so many people from all walks of life. And as a family, if you're introducing your kids to Disney for the first time, this show comes highly recommended to me for the portrayal of both characters done so phenomenally by Dove Cameron. And if you've never seen any behind-the-scenes facts or footage from Liv and Maddie, this is your opportunity to do it. So please take a minute to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. I would really, really appreciate it because I was just as big of a fan of this series as you were. I loved how unpredictable the characters were. I loved how you didn't know how they were going to do something from one minute to the next. I really appreciated the stupidity of the characters, and what I mean by that is how some of them would come in and do something stupid, and it would be so funny, everybody would be left laughing. I was a really big fan of Stupidity years ago, where a character would come in, do something stupid, make their exit, and everybody would be left with no milk coming through their noses. I loved how fun shows like this were, and I miss shows like this. So it's just as much fun for me having the opportunity to watch this footage back with you. It's about a 10-minute long run. So let's watch this together and see if we can't take a walk down memory lane together. Don't forget to hit my subscribe and like buttons and get in on the conversation by leaving your feedback in the comments.
This Saturday, I'll be you and you be me. Wait, you mean like a switcheroonie?
Welcome to Ms. Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 behind-the-scenes secrets about Liv and Maddie.
Let the cloning begin. Begin.
We stand on the shoulders of the giants who came before us.
Are you sure you wouldn't rather have some live time? You know, they say it's good for the soul.
For this list, we'll be looking at little-known facts about the Disney Channel show. Do you know any other fun facts about Liv and Maddie? Let us know in the comments. Number 10. Dove Cameron hesitated to take the part.
How great is this? Liv and Maddie back in the same room together.
You might be thinking, why would someone think of turning down a role on Disney Channel? Well, sometimes things aren't as simple as they first seem.
You see those flashing lights there on her mirror? I'm in the process of getting some flashing lights for this room. I'm going to strobe it out. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull it off or not, but I've got some ideas just to kind of put some bling to this set. I'm not going to let you in a little secret. I'm not going to give it all away, but it's work in progress. Put it that way.
I can't do this.
Cameron was offered the part shortly after her father passed away. Understandably, she had some doubts about taking the job at the time.
I was terrified because it didn't start out with me playing twins. And so when I came on set, I didn't think I was going to be able to do it. Mm-hmm. And I thought, I was like, I'm going to let Disney down. Like the Walt Disney Company, I'm going to let them down. I was so terrified. Like my inner child was freaking out. It was like, Mickey's going to hate me.
She knew that it would give her a lot of exposure fast and wasn't sure if that was something she wanted, given everything she was dealing with. But with the help of her mom, she decided to take the part. And the reason is a touching one. She loved the fact that it would reach a young audience. Considering how much she loves kids, it was too good of an opportunity to pass up. Number 9. They chopped the time down for filming each episode.
I mean, I've never tried to play twins before.
Dove Cameron has talked about how initially, one episode of Liv and Maddie was filmed over the course of 5 days. This consisted of 2 days to practice and 3 days to shoot. That's standard at Disney Channel.
Like in the first season, it was called...
Do you guys know Disney just recently bought the rights to The Simpsons? 3 to 5 days is nothing to shoot an individual episode of a series that is compiled of probably 25 through 30 per season. An episode of The Simpsons takes 6 months to shoot. I didn't even know that. I only found that a couple of months ago. But one episode of The Simpsons takes 6 months to shoot. When you put that into perspective, 3 to 5 days is a lot of work, but it's really just a flash in the pan. All right.
Complicated because we still had the same amount of time as every other sitcom.
Well, eventually executives asked them to cut the filming timeline down to 2 days. This might seem like a minor change, but Cameron has talked about how difficult the adjustment was. After all, she had to do double the work since she was playing both Liv and Maddie. But they were successful, so the higher-ups made this accelerated schedule the norm for the show to save time and money.
Disney was like, you have 3 days to film, it's totally fine. And then they asked us to do it once in 2 days, because obviously it's like way less expensive. And then they're like, oh, so you can do it like that forever.
Luckily, everybody gradually got into the groove of the new timeline, and it began to feel normal.
And it was so hard for like the first season. Then we figured it out. And then it was like second nature.
Number 8. The cast would sometimes confuse Liv and Maddie.
This Saturday, I'll be you and you be me. Wait, you mean like a switcheroonie?
Dove Cameron certainly made the difficult job of bringing 2 identical twins to life seem effortless. That's just how talented she is.
Funny story, you guys would never believe this, but I didn't even realize they were portrayed by the same girl. When I first saw Liv and Maddie in 2013, I didn't even know that she was playing the same 2 girls by the same actress. That's how oblivious I was to what was happening. They made me believe it so much that I literally thought the 2 different girls were playing, 2 different characters on a show. And then about a year into watching it, I was like, oh my God, she's played by the same girl. And you're saying to yourself, you're only figuring that out now? Liv and Maddie's been off here for 10 years. Yeah, kind of, but we don't have to tell anybody that.
Is. But did the actress ever get confused and mix up her characters while filming? It would be understandable given the sheer volume of scenes she had as each girl. Well, according to her, it wasn't a problem. Most of the time she knew who she was playing. But it wasn't always as easy for the rest of the cast to figure out. In an interview, cast members talked about how sometimes they'd step onto set and have no idea which twin Dove was portraying. It must have been pretty tricky.
Now wait a minute, let me get this straight. You two pulled a switcheroony on me for one of the pinnacle moments of a mother's life?
Number 7. Jessica Marie Garcia's age.
Willow, you've been in a slump for days.
I just can't concentrate.
Willow Cruz is an important part of the series. She's confident and stands her ground in everything from basketball to life. But if you're thinking she looks a little bit older than the other kids, you're right.
Oh man, you're bored and unemployed and looking for friends. I'm here for you, Mrs. R.
The actress behind the role, Jessica Marie Garcia, was actually born in 1987. That means that she was 27 years old when she landed the role of Willow on Liv and Maddie. Needless to say, her teen years were behind her at this point, but Garcia seamlessly stepped into her character's adolescent shoes, which is definitely impressive considering the age gap.
Today, we stand on the shoulders of the giants who came before us.
Number 6. Sophia Carson auditioned for the show.
You're looking a little washed out. Let me help you out.
Ew, stop. I'm plotting.
Well, it's not very attractive.
Sophia Carson.
I bet you a lot of guys didn't know that she actually auditioned for the show and was kind of turned down, and they initially picked Dove Cameron because of Dove's exuberance and personality. I'm sure fans of Descendants, diehard hardcore fans of Descendants know that, but I'm sure that a lot of people are kind of oblivious to the fact that some of the stars of Descendants actually auditioned for this one and then were picked up after for the cast of Descendants, and Sophia Carson was one of them that were turned down. But I think that she would have been an awesome addition to this show.
Carson is probably best known for her role as Evie in the Descendants movies, and she's racked up numerous acting credits since as well. For instance, she recently starred opposite KJ Apa in Michael Bay's dystopian science fiction film Songbird.
I need you to buy me a little time.
Okay.
Not to mention, she's also a talented singer. Needless to say, Carson has made a real name for herself. But the path to success wasn't always easy. Like many in the industry, she faced a lot of rejection. In fact, fans might be shocked to learn that in the earlier days of her career, she actually auditioned for Liv and Maddie. Sure, she didn't get the part, but eventually everything worked out for the best in the end.
Okay.
Number 5. Dove Cameron considered quitting.
It's okay. I mean, there's really nothing that you can do about it now.
In an interview, Dove Cameron revealed that at the beginning of the show's run, she really struggled with the grueling schedule and the pressure that came with playing both Liv and Maddie. In fact, she actually thought about leaving the show altogether.
Does no one see me dying here?
She said, quote, "There was definitely a time when I told my mom, I literally think I'm not capable of doing this. I do not think I will survive this. I think I'm going to let all of Disney Channel down. They trusted me with this, and I seriously think I'm going to cost them millions of dollars and pull out of this show." Thankfully, she persevered.
Hey girls, feeling better?
Yeah.
Number 4. Transforming from Liv to Maddie took hours.
Let the cloning begin. Begin.
A slew of costume fittings and long hours in the hair and makeup chair is a daily reality for those who work in the entertainment industry. But this was especially true for Dove Cameron on the set of Liv and Maddie. According to the actress, it took approximately 2 hours to go from playing one twin to the other.
And also, wigs are completely necessary to create the visual difference between me as Liv and me as Maddie.
This makes sense when you consider how Liv and Maddie had pretty opposite styles in the show. With Maddie's more laid-back looks and Liv's glamorous aesthetic, a lot went into getting Cameron into character. From the wigs to the makeup to the wardrobe, it's no wonder the transformation was so lengthy.
And having this here, my own hair, makes it look more natural when we put the Liv and Maddie wig on. It helps me get into character. Wardrobe plays a big part in that as well.
Number 3. Liv was secretly left-handed.
Are you sure you wouldn't rather have some live time? You know, they say it's good for the soul.
There are certain details that go into creating a character. For Dove Cameron, this involved picking out each twin's dominant hand. Yep, while Maddie was right-handed, the actress apparently decided to make Liv left-handed.
That truth bomb just blew up in my face.
And she actually made the choice without telling anyone. She only revealed that she'd been playing Liv as a lefty later in the show's run. Everyone was baffled by the revelation. And while it went unnoticed by most, it's a revealing detail that shows just how meticulous Cameron was in her.
It went unnoticed by most, and it went unnoticed by me for forever, so I'm not the only one. Thank goodness for that.
Preparation.
If every time you see an ad, you just wanna, you need a download Pi. It's a free Chrome extension that blocks.
She worked hard to make each girl unique, and really did the twins justice. Number 2. Even the way the show was filmed was complicated.
Ever wonder how we do it? Spoiler alert, you're about to find out.
A lot went into creating the illusion of twins on camera, including body doubles. Emmy Buckner was Liv's double, and Shelby Wolfert was Maddie's. So when one twin had her back to the camera in a scene, it was actually the double that viewers saw. Dove Cameron wanted to act opposite a real person to help her channel the necessary emotions in her scenes. But there's more. The camera remained in one place, and imaginary lines that the actors didn't cross split the set.
Dance party.
You and me and the beat go great together.
Cameron would film as one twin on one side before changing characters and heading to the other side. Then it was put together in post-production. The finished product was always flawless, which is a testament to the cast and crew's talent.
It's a long story. Camera trickery.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. The original premise was very different. It turns out the show's original concept didn't involve the twins at the center of Liv and Maddie. Imagine Dove Cameron's surprise when she got the part of a girl named Alana, only to later find out she'd be playing 2 parts.
I played one girl named Alana, who was neither Liv nor Maddie, and she didn't have a twin. There was no twins. No twins at all.
The initial idea was actually for a show called Bits and Pieces, a name that should ring a bell for fans who have watched the series all the way through.
Yeah, I mean, the show's called Bits and Pieces, also known as Morceaux et Pièces.
Of course, rewrites are common in television, but such a drastic conceptual change is a feat in and of itself.
And so the day that I found out that we got picked up was the day that they were like, also, it's about twins and you're the twins.
The twins storyline is part of what made Liv and Maddie such a special show, so it's definitely hard to imagine it not existing.
It turned out to be the best acting exercise, the best education, and the most life-changing thing.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from Ms. Mojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be...
I love that. I love when characters inspire so many people from all walks of life, and I really appreciate you guys being such a huge fan of things like Liv and Maddie, because without shows like Liv and Maddie, I don't know where Disney fans would be today, because they took so much away from it. It was so fun, you know, being a part of that generation. I feel like I've been a part of every generation of Disney that there's been, all the way back to the 1980s. I've been a fan of Disney, and I can never remember shows being so captivating to so many people from all walks of life. Guys, if you could take a second to hit the subscribe and the like buttons, I would really, really appreciate it. Give me a second to switch over, and we will bam-whack this thing out. We will close it out with my final thoughts. You know, come to think of it, I don't even know how I discovered Liv and Maddie. I think one night I was just browsing through Disney Channel's content, either that or on Disney Plus, and I found it. But initially, when I first saw Liv and Maddie and the portrayal of both characters by Dove Cameron, which I was oblivious to at that point in time, not even knowing she was playing 2 characters at once with stunt doubles, I said, this show is the definition of inspiring in the Disney English Dictionary. This is a show that comes highly recommended by me and probably by millions of other reviewers on the internet. And the internet will correct me if I'm wrong about anything I've said on this video, but I really appreciate how much ethnic this show had. I really appreciate how inspiring it was, and I really appreciated how loyal the fans were to Liv and Maddie and Descendants. And I know that the majority of my subscribers have come from the Liv and Maddie and Descendants content that I've been throwing up on this YouTube channel, so I thought, why not put together a 2-part series? Part 2 will come out in a couple of days on this channel, so if you haven't subscribed, be sure to do that. Really big fan of Liv and Maddie, and really big fan of Descendants, and I will provide you with the content that you're looking for, what you want, and you'll be very appreciative of it because it's an amazing experience for me. It's just as much fun for me producing this content as it is for you watching it, whether you watch it by yourself or as a family together. I can't tell you how much I appreciate each and every one of you for doing it, because without you subscribing to this YouTube channel, I don't know where this channel would be. In terms of a 5-star scale perspective rating, I will definitely give this one 4.5 out of 5 stars. Comes very highly recommended to me, and if you're looking for a show to inspire somebody, to lift their spirits, I think this one will get the job done every single time. It's a shame it only had about 75 episodes, 70 through 75 episodes, produced this one in 4 seasons. I remember watching every single episode of this one and being absolutely enthralled and feeling very, very inspired. So guys, thank you so much for hitting the subscribe button. Be kind to one another. Bye, YouTube, and we will see you again really soon. Go watch some Liv and Maddie now and come back and tell me all about it.